everybody, to another edition of the Bluegrass Poker Podcast. I am your host, Blythe Dahlem, aka BGP2000. Today, I am joined by the one and only Marle Cordeiro, who you may know from her vlogs, or Poker After Dark, Poker Out Loud, or just any other corner of poker Twitter. She's anywhere and everywhere, and is a great personality, and I'm happy to have her on. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. I want to start off, like I said, you were on Poker After Dark recently. Those episodes are currently airing, and you were also on Poker Out Loud. So you want to talk a little bit about your experience on both of those?
Yeah, Poker After Dark was, obviously it's just an iconic show, and to get the chance to play on it was amazing. I played on 2 different days. So the first day is airing now, and I played with Frank the Tank, Frank Stapuchin, who's, if you guys have seen it, you know he's a character. So that was quite an experience. But we had a great lineup: Ronnie Barda, Al Richardson, Alex Dang, Ilias, and myself, and it was just a great vibe. Yeah, it was great. This last episode's coming out this coming Monday, and that's kind of like when it all kicks off. Frank and myself and everyone are a little bit tipsy, and we get things that start flying. So this coming Monday is really going to be the best episode, I think.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. It's been great so far. I just started watching the most recent episode, and I don't think I didn't get to like the end of it, but I don't think you've been involved in too many like memorable hands from what I remember. It's been a while. Since I watched at least the first episode a week ago.
Yeah, the first one I didn't really do much, I don't think, from what I remember. This last one I got a little bit more involved, and I think there's a few big hands at the end with me. Okay. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think the last hand I watched that you were involved in, you won the 7 Deuce bounty versus when you're playing against Frank, who that guy's such a character. Oh my god! Like with the is that like a plastic chicken wing that he had with him?
Yeah.
Is that like his good luck charm? I think.
Apparently.
I think that's what Veronica said when they interviewed. Shout out to Veronica, friend of the show.
Yeah, for sure. And he folded ace-10 to me, so I don't think my reputation had preceded me. I think he is under the impression that I was quite tight. And frankly, like I hadn't been doing much, so maybe he just thought I was just super tight. I don't know, but nice to get that one through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
it's always great to win the 7 Deuce bounty.
Yeah, I hunted hard. There's actually a hand. The second day we played, we ended up doing 7 Deuce. We changed the hand every hour, like so whatever. So it'd be like Queen 3 and then Jack 4 or whatever. We just would change it. And Ronnie plays his hand versus me, where he goes ham against me with like what he thinks is like the 7 Deuce, but it's the hand from last hour. So first of all, he doesn't even win the hand. Spoiler alert. Shout out for Ronnie, and he tables his hand like, oh man, like I tried, and that's not even the hand. Like it was pretty epic. It was pretty epic.
Oh my god, that's so funny. There's like nothing better than that. It's almost like when you're playing like I don't know if you've ever played mixed games, but it's like if you're playing like Raz or whatever, but you show down like a stud high hand, and everybody's like, I got the nut low, and everybody's like, that's not the right hand. Totally.
Yeah, totally misreading your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Poker After Dark, Poker Out Loud, different 3-letter poker show, or 3-word poker show. That was a lot of fun to watch too. Obviously, it's a really different environment because you have to go and like speak through your thought process. So what did you take away from that? And I know you've like been a fan of Solve for Why for a while and enjoyed their stuff. So how was it playing on Poker Out Loud?
Yeah, that's just a concept that I've loved since they came up with it, and I haven't had a chance to get on there, but I had to get on when they said they were doing a vloggers one. I had to. That was the one I knew for sure. And it was honestly tough. I've streamed a decent amount, and so I thought I would be pretty comfortable like speaking my thoughts out loud, but it was like really different than streaming, I found, because like when you're streaming, right? If you're in a hand, a lot of times you'll talk about it like while you're playing it, but then also when it's over, you'll continue to kind of like say what happened there and like, you know, whatever. But each hand takes so long, obviously, because every decision people are talking. And so I was really conscious of not taking too much time and like hurry up and I just got a few seconds here because I know how it was annoying to wait, whatever. So I felt like very self-conscious. Um, and so yeah, that was something I didn't anticipate, but it was like great. I mean, those guys are so great, and I really enjoyed playing with them. Chauncey, sorry, my cat is going nuts. Um, yeah, but it was great.
That's
Yeah.
great. I do. Here's one little thing in the notes that I have. It just says Chauncey. I don't know where I was going with that, but Chauncey's a great cat. I remember watching Berkey's streams
Yes.
during quarantine, and he was at the Solver White House, so Chauncey was just like almost walking around the, the
Yeah.
camera during the stream.
He's a camera ham. I got him like right before I started my vlog, actually. So he was a kitten, and he made an appearance very early on in the vlog, and so he just got used to the camera. And now whenever the camera's on, he's just like
He wants to be around it. He's
he
the
wants
center
to.
of attention.
Yeah, he is.
he
Yeah.
what was I thinking? I don't know where I was going with Chauncey there, but yeah, he's a funny cat. There was a second, I don't know if you saw it, but there was a start where he just like leaped in the background. He just leaped like almost like over your head. It looked like.
Where?
Like at the start of the show, like right after I started recording, it just he was just like walking around the like right behind you to your right. It was hilarious.
I don't doubt it. He's a maniac. He's just like acrobatics behind me. He's insane.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Um,
So speaking of the vlog too, I don't believe you've posted on your YouTube channel in a little while, but you started out vlogging, doing different vlogs in Vegas, and then during quarantine as well, when you were locked up, you were making all these different sketches, which I found hilarious. My personal
Thank
favorite,
you.
by the way, is the wage gap in poker one.
Thank you.
That's just amazing. So what was your journey with the vlogs? Like, how did you get started, and how did you see your content evolving like throughout uh, your career, I guess?
Yeah, for
You can
lack of a
call it
better
a
word.
career.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
like pokers. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, I kind of just started the vlog as a creative outlet and had kind of like no idea what I was going to do with it. And I kind of almost advise people to do that and just kind of because I think people try to like have too much of a plan and they try to be too perfect with it. Um, and just like get on there and just start making shit, and
Yep.
it will evolve on its own. You'll naturally find shit that you like more than others and whatever. And so I kind of just did that. And I kind of, in the very beginning, of course, I did a lot of hands, even for like probably a year and a half. I probably made like 30 hand history blogs, or more, maybe 50. And, that kind of like ran its course with me for a few reasons, mainly just because there's people that are doing that better than me. Like you don't need to hear that from me.
Right.
Um, there's just so many finding equilibrium. For example, I think their stuff is unbelievable. Of course, there's like Brad and Andrew. There's tons of people, so it's it's just like a market, whatever. And honestly, I don't enjoy doing it. So I made these like 7 sketches during quarantine, which I really enjoyed, and I'm going to be doing more of those. So I signed with a poker site, so I'm going to be doing it for them basically, but more just like purely just like sketches. And when I do like a quote unquote strategy video or a hand history video, it's gonna be predominantly like trolling. I mean, I'm gonna put some like serious stuff in there, but when I do stuff like that, it's gonna be with that tongue in cheek style, for sure. But yeah, it's kind of just been a progression, and uh, I think going forward, like I said, I'm going to be making content for this company. So um, once that's like announced, I'll be releasing like some videos and stuff, but it'll
Yep.
be on the same style. But yeah.
Yeah, I was watching another podcast you were on recently. I think it was the Cards Chat one,
Uh-huh.
and Joey's podcast too. And you're talking about different things that you were thinking about doing with that content. Like I think one of them was like kind of like on Joey's podcast 2 years ago that you did. You mentioned making something like a sitcom kind of show, like about
Yeah.
poker, and then like on that one, I believe it was something along the lines of like I don't remember. I didn't apparently I didn't write it down in my notes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would be like a kind of long-term dream.
Yeah.
Obviously, like that's not something I'm going to do anytime soon. But I mean, yeah, I think that like bringing poker to mainstream audiences in a funny way is also something that's kind of. I mean, it's been done a little bit, I guess. There was like a show I think called wasn't there a show called like Tilt or something back in the day? It was kind of like a witty drama or something on ABC, I think. I don't know, but it's been kind of done, but not really.
Yeah.
And I think that there's just so much there. Um, and yeah, that would be like a long term and then like a 10-year goal
Okay.
maybe to make like a show on Netflix or whatever, or even on just on YouTube.
Wait,
Uh,
so you want it to be more like like that long-term goal with the show? Would you want it to be more like a sitcom, or more like something like the Queen's Gambit? That was like kind of serious, or what do you think? What do you
I
think
mean,
right now?
I always go the comedic route because that's just kind of like my
Yeah.
style. Um, Back originally, my whole kind of I kind of always envisioned it kind of like almost like a Big Bang Theory type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like instead of science nerds, it's like poker players, and it's kind of that same dynamic. They all live it's like a poker house, and they have that similar kind of dynamic. And there's like a girl maybe, and whatever, and that kind of thing. And then I actually talked about it a little bit on The Orbit recently, and Jamie Staples
Mm-hmm.
and Robbie and them had some interesting takes. I don't even think it made the cuts. We talked about it after the show, but they had some interesting ideas for it too. Uh, Jamie, I think, said making it. Did you ever see that show Louie with Louis C.K.?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that show.
Something like that could be good too, like
Mm-hmm.
a one person kind of, but like a poker, like that kind of style, I think would really work well too. I mean, obviously, like the question is always like, can you bridge the gap with the poker lingo with a mainstream person? I think you can. Um, for example, like the Big Bang Theory, like it's about science, right? There's so much about science that the main person doesn't understand, but like they kind of do a good job of not getting heavy into it. I don't know, like there's a way to do it where people can understand it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Sorry,
do
I
you
got
think?
my own personal Chauncey back there, but
Oh yeah, hi.
but somebody in chat straight master says socks guy.
Huh?
A guy in chat called him socks guy.
Oh, sucks, yeah.
You're socks guy now, Matt. But I think no, I think you're totally right because you have like people like Sheldon on there talking about like string theory and all this complex stuff, and like I have no idea what the hell string theory is. Well, I kind of do, but at the start of it, like I was like, what's he talking about? But then like they just makes like jokes off of it, and people can go. So you can always like on your show, you could have like some guy who's like super deep in the sim streets talking about like, oh yeah, we got a black belt at the river, blah, blah, blah. And then you could have like Phil Hellmuth like style guy on there. It's like what you have to do is just like play tight and be better than your opponents or whatever. Just be like that kind of whole
Sure.
balance of poker player. I guess that's just how I'm like envisioning some kind of show similar to the Big Bang Theory.
Sure, yeah, and that's exactly it. But there's like so many routes you could take it. But
Yeah.
for now, I'm going to be just doing the sketches. I really want to dive deeper into the sketches, and what's kind of great about it too now is obviously I'm going to be. I work with an editor, so I'm going to have because in the past, like I've always just done everything myself, but having like a little bit of a help. Hopefully, I'll be able to just focus on the creative because I mean I don't know if you're an editor, but I hate editing so much. It's the
Yeah.
worst job. Some people love it. Some people, it's an art. I mean, it's a really amazing skill, but I'm just not good at it
No,
at all.
I'm not a fan of going through my podcasts and like trying to figure out like or
Yeah.
I really don't even. I just kind of like trim them up. But now I'm gonna start going through them and doing timestamps. But I could not. I don't think editing's a thing for me. I relate to you in that sense because I feel like I'm more of like the creative person. I want to just keep doing these ideas and not have to be like drowned out by like all the
Yeah.
meddlesome work, even though I don't have to. Now I know you and I at least share one thing in common is that's like besides poker is like a love for comedy. I know you
Yeah.
started doing you were originally doing stand up and like acting a long time ago, so I wanted to ask you just about like that portion of your life as well.
Yeah. So I mean, I was an actor, and I was in a bunch of. I was studying acting, and I started doing stand up because my teacher gave me an assignment to do stand up, and um, Anthony Abeson was his name, and he was very sweet. So I did a bringer show at Gotham, and my whole class came. It was very sweet, and I obviously bombed, and I obviously didn't do well. But then I kind of, kept up with it a little bit, and I met one of my best friends, Adam, and we grinded open mics for a while, and would just, he's one of the funniest people on the planet still, and it was kind of like a supplement to. I would never consider myself like a stand-up comedian, but I definitely did a decent amount of it, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. But yeah, I was just acting and making things in New York, and I was very young at the time, like 20, 22. And yeah, it was just like really hard because I was just doing all these different things, and I didn't really have any direction. And I was also making short films with my ex-boyfriend and going on real auditions for like real things, and nothing was just clicking. Nothing was really working. And that's kind of like why I left New York, is because it just kind of wasn't working. And I just felt kind of lost. And it's kind of interesting because when I started the vlog, I started doing these sketches, I started to use all this stuff that I had learned back in the day, that I just was like, I'm interested in this shit. Like, I think I'm kind of good at it. I'm just going to like study it a little bit. I took over 2 years for it, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I've started using it. So it's kind of all come full circle in a way.
Yeah. I guess we're just kind of like, what's the saying? We're all the sum of our experiences or whatever. Like, we just kind of like bring all that stuff from our lives into it. Do you have like?
I was gonna say it's great that you're. I don't know that much about you, but I know you have so many different interests, and I think that that's so great. Like, I just turned 30, so I'm not gonna like sound like I'm super old or anything, but I think in our 20s, that's what we're supposed to do, is just try as many things as you can and get as many things as you can, and then it's kind of, I felt kind of lost because I was like, okay, what am I going to use this for? But then it all comes together, I think, and at least for me anyways. And the best thing to do is just to like throw a bunch of shit at the wall and see what sticks,
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like, cause you don't know, but you don't know a lot about me. But yeah, I do. Poker, a musician. I also write satire a lot for my school.
So, oh wow.
So I love. So that's kind of like the I love stand up, but I also love like satire writers like David Sedaris. I don't know if you've ever read him.
Yeah,
but
of course.
I love his stuff.
Of course.
And I do too much. I'm like also a ceramic artist as well. I'm like.
What are you studying? Are you studying music?
I'm studying music. I just declared a double major with music and economics.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So literally, like, I'm all over the place. Connor in chat said, "Sup, nerds." Hey, Connor.
Oh, hi. I don't have the chat open, so I can't respond or anything.
It's all right. So yeah, but I love stand up. I've done stand up like twice, I think. Like, I've done like 2 random open mics, and I did probably. I've seen the video of it, and it's awful. Like, I hate watching it. But do you have any like favorite comedians that you watch these days or read?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, Tim Dillon, Andrew Schultz, Whitney Cummings, Nikki Glaser. There's just so fucking. Bill Burr obviously is the best, the GOAT.
Yeah,
all those guys.
Are you an Anthony Jeselnik fan by chance?
I love Anthony Jeselnik. Yes. And I like him because, frankly, so, I really like Chris D'Elia, for example. Like, I like him actually. Like, I like his podcast more because his stand-up to me is it's like more stories and it's a bit rambly. And I kind of like the clean jokes. I obviously loved like Mitch Hedberg. Like, I like the clean one-liners. I like the clean, even you can see even like in the videos I make, I think that they're very like, there's like beats to them. It's almost like musical in a way. Like comedy is very, very musical, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And
it's all about timing.
It's all about timing, yeah. And so, I was never like anything on your level, but I was very into like piano until I was in middle school and singing and all that stuff. And so I have a somewhat of a musical background, and that even is helping me with the comedy. Everything comes together. You know what I mean? Everything influences how you look at things, for sure.
Yeah, I love a lot of those comedians. Actually, through your I think it was through Twitter. Like you were liking Tim Dillon's tweets, and then I ended up
Yeah.
finding him, and so
Yeah.
I love like all of his like his podcasts, his sketches, like all those stuff. He's
Yeah.
hilarious. So thank you for getting Tim Dillon in my timeline.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah. Brian Callen says, or Connor was talking about Brian Callen. He said goat stand up. I've never heard of him before, but
he's great.
look him up.
I'm not too familiar with his stand up. I've listened to his podcast a bunch. But yeah, he's a legend too.
Yeah.
There's so many great ones, man.
Oh yeah, I love stand up so much. I need to try doing it some more, but it's kind of difficult right now.
What do you think about just like the pandemic and the way that comedy's like switched to like online and podcasts and what do you think about these like YouTube's comedians and stuff?
I think it's hit or miss. It really depends on like there's a specific type of person that can do it. Like, and some people have like thrived doing it. Like Tim Dillon obviously is one of those people. He's thrived, but I think like some people have just kind of like fallen off when they're not able to like do stand up or their own thing. Even like when SNL like tried to do that one like Zoom show that they were doing, like it was maybe the worst thing I think I've ever seen in terms of comedy.
I didn't see that actually. Yeah.
Don't even bother. It's a train wreck.
Yeah.
But it's really like hit or miss, and like you see like things changing too. But at the same time, you know, what's his face? Oh my gosh. Oh man, he's a clean comedian. He does like his old specials called Tennessee Kid. Gosh, come on.
John Mulaney?
No, not Mulaney. It's damn it, I'll forget about it. I'll figure it out like later.
Yeah.
I'll just like scream it out. But like, he just released a special where he was outside at a socially distanced crowd, and like that was really funny. Bo Burnham, I don't know if you've seen his stuff, but he's releasing a new special soon.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called like Inside. He filmed it like over the last year. It's like no audience, no like.
Oh, that's crazy.
He just filmed it like in his house, and it's just like.
He's just always been one of those people that I feel like who just likes. He's almost like in a way like a little bit like what's his name? I'm blanking now. Again, like you are my favorite comedian. What's his face? What the fuck is his name? I'm like, this is gonna drive me crazy. I gotta look it up now. Andy Kaufman.
Oh, yeah.
In a way, just like in the way that he just like, doesn't he do like music with his like stand-ups and Bo?
Yeah.
Doesn't he? Yeah. He just like likes to push. He just likes to do crazy outside the box things for sure.
I just remembered the comedian I was talking about was Nate Bargatze.
I don't know him.
Oh, he's surprising. I was so surprised at how much I love this stuff. He's like really like an absurdist kind of guy, but he doesn't really swear during his like things, which I was kind of like, I'm always like hesitant with some comedians who are just like, you know, never swearing, but he just like, his stuff's so ridiculous that I find it like so great. Definitely check him out.
Okay.
Shameless plug for Nate Bargatze, who does not know me in any way, shape, or form. But yeah, I just love comedy. It's such I'll just go through like weeks where I'm just like watching stand-up specials or like different ones. Yeah.
There's just so much good stuff out there for sure.
There is. And I mean, now like it was kind of like at a lull for a little bit, but you know, now we're starting to see stuff come back, and I'm hoping to like, you know, make it out to do to try to do some stand-up sometime just for fun, because I don't know, I've been writing so many jokes and stuff like that, just trying to like do it. Yeah. Nice. I guess we both like enjoy these things that I guess we can call like high variance careers, you know, like acting, poker, comedy, all that stuff. So when you were like trying to figure out what you were doing, were you ever really concerned about like where the money was going to come from in the future, or like your work or whatever? Because I know my parents have always just been harping at me like, you can't do music for a living, you have to get this econ degree. And I'm like, I enjoy economics like a little bit, but not as much as everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of lucky with the parents thing because my dad, who raised me by himself, he played poker for a while. He's a musician, actually, lifetime musician, but he's also like, he worked for Bose for many years, doing SEO, doing SEO. So he's like kind of done both, and he's kind of always supported me and doing these kind of like you know, alternative careers. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess like I just kind of always just like not thought about it, I guess, in a way. I just kind of wanted. I've just always been kind of like a risk taker. I just wanted to
Yeah.
go for it. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
kind of I get to the point where I say fuck it.
You just gotta shoot your shot and hopefully, throw shit at the wall and hopefully it's something sticks. Right?
Yeah, I mean, and again, I've also been like lucky to have people to support me. Like even in poker, I always say like people don't talk about this enough. What that, you know, everybody goes broke, usually multiple times, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't say everybody, but 99%, 95% people go broke at some point. And it's really important to have people have lines of credit in poker, and whether that's staking or just loans, and even coach friends that will coach you when you're down or give you mental pep talks. Like having that community uh, is essential. Like you need that, and so and I had that, and I didn't necessarily go broke, but I definitely had a community of people who I I didn't go broke because I just wasn't winning. I guess I just wasn't winning for a while, and didn't have any money.
Mm-hmm.
So I had people to like help prop me up and support me, especially in the beginning. And so it's a lot easier to go for it, I guess, and feel like, oh, you're taking all these risks when you have people to catch you when you fall, basically, in a way. Um, but yeah, so I think that that's just like really important. And in poker and anything else, really, you need people to like support you.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Speaking of like, you really need people to support you. Like, I guess whether it's parents or
Yeah.
whatever. And I know
Yeah.
now, obviously, good news. The best news, or not the best news, but good news for you is your engagement with Benjamin Spraggy, and you two obviously both very successful professional poker players. So how is being in a relationship in poker with another poker player? How do you two coexist in that sense, or like, and help each other out?
It's challenging at times.
Yeah.
I think anybody in a poker relationship will tell you that. I mean, there's some hand history discussions that get pretty heated. Um, I think it's important to come up with like a way that you're going to talk about strategy,
Mm-hmm.
meaning like, hey, when I bust a tournament, I'm not interested in hearing the mistakes I made. I just want support. Or if that's you, like learning
Yeah.
what you want and communicating that, and so you don't get in fights is really key. But I I decided, I guess, a few years back that I was probably only going to date poker players because it is such a unique lifestyle. Um, when I was living in New York, I was always interested in poker recreationally because my dad played full time and he lived in Vegas at the time. And my ex boyfriend, who was a great guy and an awesome person, hated poker.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a director, he was in film and stuff, but he just like, hated poker. And he, would always tell me, like, you're going to waste your talent and life away sitting in a casino, like, just didn't approve of it, didn't like it. And so, and it's become such a big part of my life. I just can't be with somebody. And I'm not saying that everybody not in poker would have that approach, but
Yeah.
there's just so many things about it that I guess like this like sums it up too. Is like I was in a club when I was single talking to this guy and a successful guy. I don't remember what he did, but like he obviously had money, whatever. And he's like, "What do you do?" I play poker, and he said, "Oh, show me your poker face." And it's just like when you say something like that to me, right? Like obviously, like if a girl said that to you, it's just like an auto turn off, right? You're just like, "Hey, like I just can't talk to you," like right?
Right.
And he's trying to be flirty, but I'm just like, dude, that's like the worst thing you could have said, right? Obviously. And that's just like what you get, you know what I mean, from like the average person. They just like don't get
Yeah.
it. And so yeah, so I resign myself to, and there's a few obstacles with that. First of all, like when you only date poker players, obviously you're kind of shitting where you eat, so you run into your exes. You have to make sure you're on good terms with your exes, hopefully, and yeah, so it's challenging, but I've accepted that like the alternative is worse.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm currently experiencing the alternative right now, dating somebody who's not a poker
Yeah.
player at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
And how does she feel? Or
she's she's like kind of indifferent towards it.
Yeah.
I mean, she's great. She's a great person. But I was playing a tournament last night and I ran really deep and I final table bubbled like an all-in pot. Like I got an all-in like with queens versus ace nine for 40 big blinds.
Yeah.
And like flop came 499 and GG. And I was like devastated, because I
Yeah.
I was just totally like, oh, I finished winning this tournament for like $45 instead of like 445, which was up top. And I was like, and so I was texting her afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I just got done. I was playing cash in tournaments all day. And she was like, oh, did you make money? And I was like, yeah, I made a decent amount of money. And she's like, well, hey, at least you made money, right? Like that's a good day. Like it's a good day to make money. And I'm like,
sure.
She's like, there's nothing to be upset about. And I was like, ooh.
Sure.
You don't know.
Yeah, it's almost like my therapist too. She's obviously not a poker player, and every time I play a tournament and I don't, she's like, how did the tournament go? And I'm like, I just like bricked it, whatever. And she's like, okay. And I'm like trying to explain to her. She must think I'm just so bad because every time I play a tournament, I don't cash. She's like, okay, well, like we'll keep working. And I'm like, that's normal. You shouldn't be cashing a lot, like Anyways, it's just some people like it. I have a couple of friends who don't date poker players and they love it. They want that separation. They want that, everyone's different. But for me, I can't deal with it.
No, I mean, there's definitely like a divide, not like a divide, but you can do one or the other. Like, there's nothing wrong with either way. Everybody's different, and obviously, like, I guess I just don't know many people that play poker at all, much less girls that I could have even dated. And I have my girlfriend. She's great, and she enjoys stand up too, so we got like all that going on with us. And but we can talk about that. But when it comes to poker, I'll like just mention like casually stuff. And I've just decided like I'm not gonna talk to her about poker. I'll just be like, good day, bad day. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's where I stand.
It's tougher, I guess, for guys because it's not that many women, in poker.
Yeah, right.
So,
we got less options, I guess, but there's plenty of fish in the sea if you can just go outside of poker. Or
definitely.
And it's perfectly fine. We got so that's great. You're moving back to the UK soon, right?
I am, yeah. So it's looking like Spraggy are definitely going to come here for a little bit, and then I'm in the process of moving there long term.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be a Brit. Here comes Chauncey. Chauncey.
You're gonna start doing an accent while you're over there, just like to make it.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I used to stream in this character Marnie. I call her. She's a British girl. I used to wear my wig, and so I might bring back Marnie a little bit. Do some streaming as her. I'm gonna be doing some regular streaming as well.
Yeah.
I just kind of realized that streaming hardcore like Spraggy does, just straight up tournaments, is just like not for me. I get so burnt out. It's so difficult. It's such a tough job. It's just just draining.
That's I mean, cash. I prefer to stream cash games because I can just be like, all right, I'm playing for like an hour, 2 hours, or an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then like I'm done. But like last night I was like, my 8 a.m. got canceled, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna register a couple tournaments and play some cash too. And then I went deep in one, and that it's just kind of brutal to be streaming like that long and then like have no results, and then you're just like, oh man, right as the stream's like really picking up, I get like on the final table bubble, and then I'm just gone like that. It's like it can be brutal. I don't know how they do it day in and day out.
He loves it. I always say like he just loves it. He will play games after his stream and he'll stream them. I'm like, aren't you burnt out? Don't you want to just like chill and not deal with the chat? And he's just like a born entertainer. It's his
Oh yeah, I mean,
he's built for it.
I mean, I guess I love like entertaining too, so that's where like I kind of like get that going off, because I mean I'll just always play music in front of people, but like chat and streaming's like different because it's all like you don't have the crowd feedback. It's literally just you into a screen and a chat.
Well, to me it's like I like to make something. I'll get on, I'll make my video, I'll put it on YouTube, and then I'll like escape into my hole and just like, hide. You know what I mean? I'll be creative, I'll get it out of my system, but I can't do it 10 hours a day. I can't be on that much. I need to purge and then just escape. That's my dream.
I feel like in the one sketch you did of this is your brain and this is your brain in a poker tournament, you could have
Yeah.
you forgot the one egg where this is your brain streaming in a streaming a poker tournament. Like
Yeah.
that's like just you drop a cinder block on it and you're all done.
Yeah.
Which
Totally.
that was so funny. I'd forgotten completely about that drug commercial. Like this is your brain on drugs until I saw that video and I was like, this is perfect.
Thank you.
I even showed my girlfriend some of your videos too, and she loved them. She loved, and
Oh,
she knows nothing about poker, but still thought they were hilarious. So
that's so great. That's I think that's like the biggest compliment I could be paid, especially like from a woman to like I want to connect with women and have that kind of I don't know, like represent them in a way.
yeah. Well,
And
even
so
from someone who's not like it doesn't know the difference between a small blind and a big blind. Like
yeah.
who finds all that stuff funny too. Like that's it's
Yeah,
something.
that's
I feel like it's a very high compliment towards you, and hopefully
yeah.
that's like you can keep doing that and like reach out, start growing the game a bit more. We can totally.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
That's my goal, yeah. And I think that, obviously I get asked a lot about, and there's been a lot of talk recently about how do we grow the game, especially to women and just in general.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, like that's kind of my approach. And I think that honestly, it's maybe like one of the best approaches is to just kind of lead by example, just like do you know, make shit that you like and just put yourself out there. And I think that people just like see that and they follow suit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of like the best thing you can do is just do you.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah. If you build it, he will come. Right. You ever
I
seen
think
Field
so.
of Dreams?
Yeah. Yeah.
Great movie. Anyways,
Yeah.
you just got back from Florida, right? Were you at the Seminole Hard Rock doing that whole poker that tournament series?
Yeah. I went. It went not great tournament wise, but that place is like just so fun. I mean, that's why I always tell myself is, um, I'm probably gonna bust every one of those tournaments, but at least I'll have friends there and some
Mm-hmm.
great restaurants and
Yeah.
some drinks,
I
some
see.
beach.
I want to go there too because I could play live poker in Florida, but I have really never played live poker in a casino before. I'm probably
Wow.
yeah, because I'm only 20. I won't be 21 for another how many 3 months or so.
Okay.
I'm trying to do mental math in my head, but I'll be 21 soon, so then I'll go to Vegas and do the whole thing. But until then,
Yeah.
the only live poker I've ever played is home games, which I guess is weird for a lot of people.
No, I mean, well, I went to Vegas on my 21st birthday and played for the first time in a casino as well. And it was epic. You're going to have so much fun.
Oh, I'm really excited for it. Lime Ricky's in the chat says, "Good day, poker pals. Good to see you in chat, Lime Ricky."
I
So nice hopping in always with the classic message. Yeah, man, I'm really excited to go play live sometime. To go play, I want to go play the World Series, but it's also in the middle of school time. So I'm I'm waiting till the schedule for next semester comes out to see when we have a fall break, so I can figure out when I need to book a ticket to go to Vegas for a weekend.
Yeah, yeah.
If I even could, I don't even know if they'd run tournaments that weekend that would that I could afford.
There's always something going on, especially lately. Lately, there's just constant series. Actually, I think the Win series might have already started.
Oh, really?
Sure.
Huh.
There might be a Win series going on. So you would play a tournament rather than cash games, or what would you?
So I mean, I guess I love cash games a lot more. Hold on, Lime Ricky, is the volume better? Let me know if you can hear me a little bit. Apparently my volume was a touch low, but anyways, yeah. So I love tournaments and I love cash games and I love mixed games, even though I barely get to play them because they're not offered as much on U.S. poker sites.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the World Series, I guess I'd try to play a few tournaments. I mean, there wouldn't be, live poker tournaments. There's not going to be too many that fit my very, very small bankroll at the moment, unless I can just bank something over the summer.
Sure.
Which would be awesome. But yeah, and until then, I'm still just kind of grinding up low stake, micro stakes cash.
Yeah.
Just building that up, and I love cash games. Just And they're my favorite, but I kind of like I got started in cash games. Then like during quarantine, like I started playing tournaments and played tournaments like till
Mhm.
October, and then I got back into cash because like I don't know, tournaments were booming and like they're just so much fun to play. But uh, when I got back to school, I just couldn't do like the regular tournament grind because I just couldn't put in the volume, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think you'll be better for it. I think that you know, I'd hate to say it, but like cash game player, people who have a cash game background tend to be better players, and I think, and online cash game players even more so, which I wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think online cash is is the most prestigious, underrated form of poker, in my opinion. Um,
Oh, it's just a
so
grind. It's
it's a
literally
grind, yeah. It's a
it's
grind, and it's like tough. It's tough to beat, obviously.
yeah. It's just you gotta sit in the lab. You gotta do whatever
Mhm.
you need to do, and you have to just go day in and day out and try to handle the swings as best you can.
Yeah, and like your leaks are gonna pop up quicker.
Mm-hmm.
If you are doing major things wrong, you can't just lean on variance and online cash. And
Oh,
I mean, even live cash, you can kind of run good for even like 2 years conceivably.
yeah.
Uh, but I have just so much respect for that form of the game,
Right.
and I think that once, because of the path you're taking, by the time you get to playing, when you start playing live tournaments, you're going to be so good that, you know what I mean. You're gonna have so much good fundamental background that it'll be great.
I really hope so. I mean, I can
Yeah.
get in there, and then Norman Chad can start making jokes about me being like, he's a young gun
Oh.
from Kentucky. He's doing whatever. He's doing everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even know.
For sure.
I'm not prepared for any jokes that Norman could make about me.
Norman's a nice guy though. He
Oh
usually
yeah.
keeps it pretty light.
Yeah, you're friends. You're friends with what? With you're friends with Stapes, aren't you? As well.
So yes, Stapes actually introduced Spraggy and I too, so
Yeah.
I owe him big time. But yeah, Stapes was when I first came out with my vlog. He was one of my first friends, and I kind of met him because I was doing some stand up in Vegas actually right around that time, and I posted some sets on Instagram, my Instagram stories, and he responded to my story and with some like notes. And I said, "Hey, could I send you like my whole set? Like, could I send you like all my jokes? And could you give me some more notes?" And he was like, "Sure." And so I sent him my thing, expecting like a few things, and he wrote like 2 pages of notes. It was so sweet of him,
Wow.
and really just like helped me out. Yeah, really sincere, really helpful. And yeah, then he introduced me to Spraggy a few months later, so I kind of owe that guy big time.
Right. Isn't that your banner on Twitter? You all at Run It Up Reno?
Yeah,
Right.
that was the day we met. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So no, I'm just adding this
You
here.
just have that whole. You got all the memories saved there on I don't know. Are those videos still up from Run It Up Reno?
I think there's somewhere. I think that's where we got that. I think we were just watching some late night, reruns. We saw it, and we just were like, oh.
Yes.
So
Speaking
cute.
of reruns or whatever, what kind of poker content do you really like tend to watch besides I'm assuming you watch training content. Do you watch like training content, or do you watch like high stakes poker and all that stuff as well?
I did catch the high stakes poker, not all of it, but I did catch a good amount of it. That was great. I mean, Rick Solomon to me is a god. I mean, Rick Solomon, you can't beat him. The guy's
Gucci sexiness sweatshirt.
oh, everything about the guy. I just like root for him so hard. I love watching JRB, of course. Duan.
Right.
That was great. I mean, I don't really watch too. I mean, I watch some trading content, not like public stuff, like Run It Once, obviously BBZ,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. But what do I watch as far as like content? I mean, I don't even know. I'm trying to think. Oh, I mean, like Ryan DePaulo's great.
Yeah.
I really like this new kid. Greg Goes All In.
Oh
He's
yeah.
really, yeah. He's made some really funny ones. I really liked the what poker sounds like to non-poker players. Did you see that one?
Yeah. I saw
Yeah,
that
that
one.
was great. Yeah. And so there's some great stuff out there. I mean, again, I like the comedy stuff, but
Right.
that's just
Yeah.
me.
I guess you're just like slightly biased. I mean, and obviously
Yeah.
Brad and Andrew Nemi too. Yeah.
Of course.
I feel like you don't even have to mention that. Like everyone's watching them.
I mean, what Brad's doing in particular. I mean, Brad has been putting up some numbers lately, just like quietly, a kind of not even under the radar, but like he's been getting some numbers that are insane, like just like averaging like 500,000 views on a poker vlog. What he's doing to grow the game is insane.
I mean,
it's crazy.
It was like some of the first content in poker I ever saw. Like just like I think like I remember easily, like I went back home like for I played poker a little bit beforehand, but I went back home for like Christmas break, my freshman year of school, or Thanksgiving break, and my friends was like, "Hey, let's play some poker." He said started playing at school, and like I lost so much money. Like the first time we went to go play, like I was just being such a degenerate, and then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna kick Evan's ass. I'm gonna take all of his money, and so like literally I just like started to love poker out of spite, and I started to watch, I think, like Poker Stars, like whatever like their thing was, like to just like learn like what do I do, what is everything, what is a bluff, all of like those simple things that you don't even like, once you get to like a certain level in poker, you don't even like think that, oh yeah, people don't know what a big blind or like positions are when things are going on. Like they have no idea what the button means. But and then I found Brad's content too, and like it's just like, oh wait, someone's talking about like poker hands as they're going on, and they're playing for like a lot of money too. Like this is so much fun. And then I found Twitch too.
Yeah, I mean, what he does so good, I think, is it's just enough strategy and actual poker hands, but he's just like so relatable, and he makes it so digestible, and he just strikes that perfect balance. It's just great. I mean, whatever he's doing, he needs to keep doing it for sure.
Yeah, he just has like a formula. Like all of his videos follow like essentially the same formula, so you know what you're going in for every time.
Yeah,
and it's a good formula.
And it's kind of like, it's almost like Doug Polk was with poker hands. That's kind of what works on YouTube, and that's kind of something that I need to do more of. I get, even when I made these 7 sketches, like I have this like really, I don't know if it's a bad habit, but you can see the progression. Like I keep wanting to tackle like bigger and bigger subject matters. Like I actually wrote a bunch of sketches that never got made about politics and about, really big issues, because that's just how I am. Like I always kind of want to go for these like really unattainable, crazy subjects because whatever. But it is kind of better in a way for just growth, just to kind of like see what works and just kind of do small variations on that in a way.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, like I do like small variations on like, that's literally what music is. Like you do small variations on like a lot of like the songs that the chords you're familiar with, and then like all of the subject matter. So like just like you, like I've got like so many things in my notes on my phone. It's just like nonsense songs, like maybe not nonsense, like some of them are good, and I've got like 4 legal pads too that are just like filled with songs that I haven't completed, and it's just like you gotta keep, like, I don't know, David Sedaris always says you just gotta keep writing when you're like somebody who's just a creative type. So I'm hoping that I can like someday like put all of my thoughts like into something that like actually works. Like I've started to record some songs now, which is fun, but like I totally hear what you're saying. Like you just have so many different ideas, and it's a lot to like try to get them all produced, especially like doing it the way you want to. And then like I guess the one problem that that always boggled me, like when I was like discovering your content earlier on, like I guess like around March or so of last year, was like people don't get your jokes. Like they don't get that you're kidding. And I'm like, how can people not have a sense of humor?
Yeah, it's so crazy. I mean, I would say that I'm obviously on the drier side, and the comedians I mean, frankly, the comedians I like are that way. Like, like Tim Dillon is obviously very dry. Like, I like people that just kind of don't give, because I don't like to like spoon feed my audience. That's kind of my biggest pet peeve with content, with comedy, is that there's so much comedy on YouTube and TikTok and stuff where they're just like spoon feeding it to you. They're like telegraphing to you that they're kidding. And I never want to like, I always assume my audience is smarter than they are, or very smart. And so they'll understand my very subtle stuff. And so when you take that approach, you're going to get, I think, a lot of people who just don't get it, because at the end of the day, like not everybody is smart, but I just assume that they, you know what I mean? But I'd rather take that approach than like, I'm kidding. Like, look at me. I'm so silly. I'm just so silly.
JK.
Exactly. Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
And that's what you get,
Yeah.
basically.
I don't know if you ever saw like the one thing that's I'm kind of thinking of now is, did you see Tim Dillon's do you listen to his podcast or watch his podcast?
Yeah.
Did you see the one that he did where he was talking about David Dobrik?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like that was like maybe the hardest like I've ever laughed like for like a 10-minute stretch, where he's just like, David Dobrik, he killed those people in Atlanta, he committed a hate crime in Atlanta. And I'm like, it's
Yeah.
he's just deadpan the whole time, just like going through like just committed to it. And he's not even like kind of like, he does kind of go to the end, like at the end of it he's like, all right, we better stop this bit before we get kicked off of YouTube. And it's like, so you kind of like, everybody knows, you should know that he's joking, that he's not like seriously, like if someone is actually thinking that he's mistaken with that, like you have,
I mean, people
a
they're
stick
crazy.
so far up your ass if you're really thinking that he's like actually making fun of like these people who died or whatever. He's just making jokes.
It's crazy. I mean, well, I made this video on Instagram and I put it on Twitter, I think, where I said that I play on Spraggy's account because I'm better at poker than him. And someone reported him to PokerStars, and we're like, you need to report these people. They're like, hey, like, I mean, again, like, I'm very like deadpan with it, but it's like obviously, like, hey, like, there's just so much. Like, I would actually just like love to be a fly on the wall during that call where that person's like, or the email where they're just like emailing them like concerned citizen reporting us. Like, what the fuck? Are people insane? They're just.
I think people are crazy. God is great, people are good. Your beer is good, and people are crazy. That's the country song, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, yeah, I've had. I mean, I'm always the person who's like, every time I'm out somewhere with my friends, I'm the guy who makes like jokes like every single in too many situations, honestly. Like, it's kind of a problem. I'll just be like, and I really like have to be careful about like knowing my audience or whatever. Like, just different jokes that I can and can't make, like just with all my friends, like because I know like it'll piss some of them off. But like you know, you can't do that on the internet. You know, you're obviously like, some people are gonna be like upset by some jokes, but like I know like I cannot make jokes about suicide around this person. You know?
Sure.
But like, and yeah, it's kind of like a delicate balance, I guess, with the internet, because you don't know like what people are gonna think.
Yeah, and frankly, like, it used to really bother me. I made an apology video back when I made that first video years ago about how I got my bankroll and stuff, because obviously Bonomo came out very hard against me. And because he's someone like I respected, it really upset me. And so I made this apology video, like really explaining like, hey, I'm not attacking sex workers. I'm not meaning to be sexist. I'm just being self-deprecating. Like, really, obviously, I don't know if you saw it, but and I honestly to this day regret making that video, because it didn't change. He never reached out to me after that. He never accepted my apology. He never it didn't change anything. It just, he's gonna think what he wants to think. He doesn't get me or my stuff, and so there's really no point in apologizing. In my opinion, because they, you know your intention. You don't need to apologize. So.
I don't know if you've ever seen like gone deep into Anthony Jeselnik's stuff, but like I don't think he'd ever apologize for making a joke. Have you ever seen his old bit about Shark Party?
Yeah, about the Australian.
Yeah.
Who got or the New Zealand.
Yeah, New Zealand. New Zealander. It's Chauncey's butt.
Yep, sorry. Sorry. That was not safe for Twitter.
I'm hoping I don't get like banned right now. I'll just go check to make sure the Twitch is still up.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but the Shark Party thing, like, people in New Zealand were like, he had like the whole bit in this thing in his or one of his specials after Shark Party came out, where he said, one of the producers was like, people in New Zealand are giving you death threats, and he goes, good. Because if I die over a joke I made, I'm a fucking legend. And then the next day they were like, hey, they're giving death threats to your family, and then he goes, even better. And then that's how he ends the show, and I'm like, I love that so much. Like, you just kind of like die by the sword, I guess.
Yeah, you sometimes. Just gotta have the attitude in a way, because it's gonna come. It's gonna, you're gonna get hate. And like I said, in my opinion, as someone who has apologized, who has done that, I genuinely like regret it. And I think that I think that it's different if like if your friends and family are telling you, hey, like you fucked up,
Mm-hmm.
like people you trust are like, hey, you fucked up here. That's out of line. Then you need to check yourself. But
Yeah.
people, just random people don't get it. That's on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lime Ricky right here just said, I remember watching that video and thinking it was very funny and not like anything else that I'd seen a female poker player do. And
Thank you.
she also mentioned too that Stapes is really supportive of the poker community. He helped me out Lime Ricky out by letting her interview him for her stream. Yeah, so Stapes is a great guy.
He is.
To throw back to that, those were some of the first things I watched too. Was like the old like super or like the high rollers, those tournament final tables, and I remember thinking for the longest time, like, man, they get these final tables done like 45 minutes, like every time. It's like clockwork, you know. The tournaments are easy; they just go so fast.
Yeah,
For like the first like 3 I watched, and then like I found one that was like the full version, and I was like, oh, these are not short.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, the World Series of Poker is not just one tournament; it's a whole series. And wait, the main event takes like 6 to 7 days or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to do it like do the final table months after. That it's just there's so many like little things in poker that I think a lot of people don't realize.
Totally.
Like, it's so many things that like nobody knows, like especially like people outside of poker. They just have like no clue what's going on. Like especially like with my parents. Like I guess you're fortunate in the fact that your dad you said used to be a professional poker player as well.
Yeah.
My parents. They did not, and until I like started showing them my graphs from playing online, and I was like, "See, I'm making a little bit of money doing this." They were kind of like, "You're just gambling right now."
Yeah, it's man, that's such a tough road for so many people. I mean, the only thing I can say is like once you start winning, from my experience, like the parents tend to get on board pretty quickly. So
yeah, they love the podcast. Like that's like they're like you're so good at podcasting, Blythe. I'm like, thank you. But and they're like, they have, I don't think they've watched like any of my like poker streams before.
Okay.
But like they've watched the podcast and stuff, and they like really like that, and they're like, you just need to like do so much more. And then my mom's like sending me things like for the podcast. She's like, you need to have this you need to change your backdrop. Like she's like, I found like 10 different green screen things that you can do. Like, I appreciate it a lot.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, but it's definitely a lot, and it's a lot for them to try to like accept and get on board with, because obviously they just want the best for you, as a child. But if and you start like going to do like this gambling route, but it even though like I guess it is gambling, but also like it's a game of skill. And granted, they are missing the podcast today to be at the Churchill Downs for the Kentucky Oaks. So who's really placing their priorities over gambling now, mom and dad?
Exactly.
They're missing my concert tomorrow too to watch the Kentucky Derby, which is gonna.
No.
They're gonna.
Oh, the Kentucky Derby is coming up.
Yeah. It's tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Epic.
Yeah, first Saturday in May every year.
So what's that? How is COVID affecting that?
I don't think they're having an infield, which is like, where everybody like just piles in and like it's absolute chaos. But what they're doing is they're like selling like different sections to like pods of people, where you can like have like 4 people in like this section, and then like spaced out, and then like 4 people in another section, and then you can have like a few people in like boxes and stuff like that. And so my parents are there, they're like all like spaced out, and it's like mostly outside.
Sure.
So that like really helps. And when you're not like in your place, I'm like 80% sure or 90% sure they're wearing masks.
Sure.
Excuse me.
Interesting.
But, yeah. So they're getting the Derby back. Horse racing's back. Gambling's back.
Yes.
Do you ever place bets on anything outside of poker?
I mean, I'm a great Ultimate Texas Hold'em player. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a huge edge. I played some UTH down in Miami, actually. No, but I don't sports bet. What?
I'm just laughing at the Ultimate Texas Hold'em.
It's a great game, you guys. For those of you at home, if you don't play UTH, you need to start. But I don't really sports bet. I put on one bet for the Super Bowl, and I broke even on it. I bet 2 different things, and I won one, lost one. So I probably put on 4 sports bets in my entire life. It's not my thing. Um, and yeah, I mean, I play like credit card roulette for every meal, but that's about it. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, I used to. I was a sports bettor mainly before I got like into poker.
Okay.
I was a losing sports bettor in hockey, and like some I remember I was like doing decent in sports betting, and then like I was kind of like going through like a little bit of a downswing in the Super Bowl game, and I just said fuck it. I put like my entire roll that I had on the site on a prop bet for Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and then I like 3x my roll from that.
What?
Yeah, because it was a long shot. It was a long shot. Like it was like he had to like throw these many yards, throw for this many touchdowns, and like also like rush for this many yards. And I was like, okay, we'll just go for it. And then he did it. And I was like,
is that a parlay or is that something different?
Yeah. So parlay is like when you like have like different bets like all together. So like if I bet on like a team to win and then like another thing, but this is like a prop bet is like proposition, like can a player do X, Y, and Z.
But there was like multiple. But there was multiple props.
Yeah.
So that's not considered a parlay.
It was not that like it could have been like, but like it was like that one prop bet had to have all of those.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know enough about sports betting. It could have technically been a parlay. It was so long ago, I don't really remember, honestly.
Yeah.
You may very well be right.
No, I have no idea. I'm curious. It's sports. I have a lot of friends who've left poker for sports betting. It's kind of booming right now.
Yeah, sports betting, DFS,
crypto. DFS, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I've like dabbled in horse racing. Obviously, just being from Kentucky, just like going to the track. But I don't think I've had a winning day anytime I've been to the track. But my brother's really good at it, and my mom she'll just go in there and she'll be like, I like this horse, and then she wins like every single time.
Amazing. Where we live in the UK, actually, this big horse racing in Cheltenham. I don't know if you've heard of it.
What's it called?
Cheltenham races, I think, or something like that. But it's like a massive horse racing. I think it's coming up soon, or it just happened, or something. And all Spraggy's friends are really into it too. So
really
similar kind of vibe to Kentucky, I think.
Yeah, I mean it's a good time going up there. Everybody's wearing all the hats and the suits or whatever. They're just having a good time.
For sure.
It's it's great. What was I thinking of? Oh yeah, and my mom's like, they just shouldn't have scheduled your concert during the Kentucky Derby, and I'm like,
yeah, they weren't thinking straight.
She's like, come on, it's Bluegrass. Kentucky's the Bluegrass state. Like what's going on? And I'm like, well, she's just making jokes, but it's good fun. We're having a lot of fun. Let's see, what do I have in those? So yeah, we got the WSOP coming up in a few months, actually, like 5 or 6 months, I guess. It's gonna be till the first event started. Are you gonna be grinding the series? Is Spraggy coming to grind the series?
I think we will. Yeah, I think we're gonna come at least for the main and the good part of it for sure. He's never played the main, so we need to make that happen.
Right, the softest 10K in the world.
Yeah, it's just an experience, though. It's just nothing. You walk in the Rio, and it's just nothing like it,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to maybe making it out there one day. My neighbors too, they have a house in Vegas, so they said like, hey, if you ever want to grind the World Series, you can just stay in our house. And I'm like, yes, now I don't have to pay for like hotels or whatever or any of that stuff. But it's still like, I guess they live like, well, you live in Vegas, right? Or you've lived in Vegas?
I live in Vegas, yeah. I'm here now.
I think their house is like out near Summerlin, so it's still like kind of like a drive from downtown. I think it's been a while since I've been to Vegas.
It's quite far, yeah.
Yeah, it's
25 minutes.
I'd still need to like figure out how I'm gonna drive there and back and all that stuff, but we'll get it done. Let's see. You're a huge fan of Raising Cane's.
Yes.
I also really love Cane's, even though I'm technically like allergic to their sauce. Like I still just eat it and just suffer the consequences, because I can't eat eggs. But like what are you gonna do? Like,
I don't blame you. Worth it.
What's your go-to meal at Cane's?
I get the box combo, but here's what you gotta do. You gotta get box combo. I don't like the coleslaw. I get no coleslaw, extra fries. The fries to me are the best part. And here's what you gotta do. You gotta get extra crispy. Everything extra crispy. That's the play.
Okay.
And then I get a couple extra cane sauces. That's what I get.
Huh. I've never thought to get the extra crispy. I'm now learning a lot more. I usually do the same thing, like box combo, but like instead of the fries, I'd get an extra piece of toast. Like I don't know. I like the toast. Dipping it in the sauce is the best move. I think one of the best things you can do. Wait, when the fries are like, you're just kind of blowing my mind right now. Because that's the biggest complaint I have with their fries. Like if they're not extra crispy, they're like really like soft and like kind of gross. Honestly, if you
Yes, you gotta get them
just
crispy.
if you get the vanilla fries, I guess. But do you like In-N-Out too? I know you live out in Vegas. Like
I
it's a
like
staple.
In-N-Out. I like In-N-Out. The fries are like too natural and healthy for me. They're not greasy enough. they're they're not greasy enough. So I don't really care for them,
Yeah,
and they're also not crispy enough. Like I like super crispy fries.
yeah.
So that's the
Okay.
play.
All right. Cool. Well, that's
Tip for those of you at home.
for those of you who live so out on the West Coast, anywhere
Yeah.
where there's an In-N-Out, or any of you that ever visit the West Coast,
Mhm.
we gotta get the secret menu too, is what I've heard. Right? You gotta go get the animal. You gotta get the animal fries.
Yeah.
That's what I remember from the last time I was out west. All right. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and start wrapping everything up here. It is getting late, and I have to start practicing some tunes. Actually, after you go ahead and head out, I'll be staying on stream playing some music. Yeah, Limerick, if you have a couple questions, go ahead and ask them. If anybody else in chat has like a couple questions, just go ahead. You said you have to be out of here in like what, like 10 minutes or so?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Cool.
a couple minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Go ahead, ask a question if you got it. Uh, she said, Limerick, said, Marley, where do you and Spraggy plan to reside long term? I think you mentioned that in the UK.
The UK. Yeah.
Mhm.
So we're in Gloucestershire. So it's kind of like an hour from England, southwest.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll be.
I haven't. I went to England. Where did I go there? 2 summers ago, I guess, because last summer we didn't go anywhere. Yeah, I went to went to the UK, then I went to France, then I visited my relatives in Germany and stuff like that. Great, it was a great trip. They own my relatives in Germany too. They own a winery, so
Ooh,
yeah.
sounds lovely.
And like just like random like the back country of Germany, and
Ooh,
it was beautiful and nothing like getting drunk with my parents and some German relatives too.
sounds delightful.
I don't know if it was delightful is the best word, but it was an experience.
Okay.
Limerick also asked, how much time per week are you devoting to study at the moment?
Not enough. Not enough.
Same.
Frankly, like I guess the best thing I do. I mean, I watch probably a couple of seminars on BBC a week at this point, but I do talk probably 10 or 20 hands in depth and with Spraggy and like his friends, like every time I play. And so I guess that's like the biggest thing I do to study at this point, and then just like watch seminars and just like that kind of stuff for like more upkeep. But I find that like things kind of stick in my head more when I make a mistake and then I review it after. That concept, I'll never forget it because I remember the pain of making a mistake. Whereas if I just watch a training video and they're saying information, I absorb some of it, but it doesn't really stick. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like there's no real application. So
right, yeah. If I'm just watching like a random video on 3-bet pots, like I'm just like
cool, yeah. Whereas if you make a mistake, and you feel the burn, and then you ask someone about it, and they're like, "Oh, that's not a thing. Here's what you need to do in the spot." I just like never forget it. It's burned in my mind. So that's the best thing you can do is just write down the hands and go over them. And if you fuck up, still go over them, even if it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm exactly the same way. Like, I like it when I like show my friends. Like, I like showing them. Like, I tell them like, don't hold back. I want you to roast the shit out of me for any single mistake I make. Like, just call me an idiot. Like, even if like, or don't call me an idiot, but like or like praise me. Just tell me like this is like the best line you could have taken, and I'll be like, yeah, it was, and I'll just think through that. But I just I like to have like that whole back and forth, and I like to learn like, oh man, I made it like a -12 big blind mistake here. That's terrible, right?
You'll never do it again, hopefully, or you won't forget. You won't forget. That's for sure.
I mean, that's the goal at least. That's why like I have problems with people who like say like people talk about like using like pre-flop charts like in game, playing like online and stuff too.
Yeah.
Like, you don't learn anything from doing that. Like, sure, you
Sure.
could do it, and like you're cheating, but like, I think it's cheating. Like, if you're like just pulling up like, what do I do here versus the raise plus like you're just acting like a robot. Like, that's no fun. Like,
Sure.
I don't like having those pre-flop charts up. Like, I'd rather just like make a mistake and like have fun like trying to learn about the game than like just playing correctly in every single scenario.
Yeah, I mean, plus you're not like learning how to think, and like in live poker too, especially live tournaments. You know, you should obviously learn theory and charts,
Yeah.
but so much of it too is making these big exploits because people just do stupid shit. So if you're just not learning how to adjust and think on the spot and make exploits, then you just will,
Mm-hmm.
you'll miss out on some money there
100%.
long term.
100%. Lamricky again asks, what if any groups do you belong to or support that helped lift up women in poker, or do you have any that you are active? Do you have any that you are active in?
No, I am actually speaking at Natalie Hoff has a group, a women's group. It's a German name. Forgive me, I can't pronounce it, but it's her. I love her. She's a German poker player, obviously, and she asked me to speak in it next week, so I'll be doing that. But I mean, frankly I don't, and I will say that like whenever I get DMs or messages from women, I always make it a point to like respond. Like I don't respond to like a lot of the guys just because the nature of it is you get a lot of creepers, but I always respond to them, and I really like to, keep up with them and like ask them how they're doing and if they're winning, if they're losing, or what talk hands. But frankly, like I said before, I just kind of take the approach of, I'm just gonna do my shit. As I don't, I don't actively go out and like start Discord groups and stuff, because to me it's like, I'm just gonna do my shit and like, that's it. So kind of an indirect approach.
No, I know exactly what you're saying. Lime Ricky too. For anybody who's watching this, another great poker streamer. If you're not checking her out, go check out Lime Ricky 71 on Twitch. She's always streaming all the time. Just a small shout out to Lime Ricky. She's a great, positive person in the poker community. That's a huge alliteration right there, and I'm surprised I did not like spit everywhere. But
yeah, thanks for coming by. Thanks for the questions.
Yeah, thanks
and the support.
Thanks, Lime Ricky, for stopping by, and thanks for everybody else too. Lime Ricky too. I'll talk to you later. I need to have you on the podcast whenever I'm done with my final exams. But I gotta go take care of that soon. And yeah, like you were saying, I know you mentioned on Joey's podcast too that you don't respond to too many DMs you follow. So thanks for responding when I DM'd you to ask if you'd come on my show.
Of course.
Taking a chance with me that I wasn't a total creep.
No, you can usually tell when someone's like sincere and legit and just wants to like collab or whatever. But there's a lot of people that like try to be sincere and then they always hit you with the like, so whatever.
Just, you up?
Yeah, exactly. Any pictures of your feet I can have, or
what's your OnlyFans?
Yeah.
I saw that YouTube thumbnail. I didn't watch the video, but what's
the best I ever got was, it's actually a reg that I know, but this reg that I actually know in Vegas sent me some like pictures of his cat, and so obviously that's gonna get me. So I opened it. I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute, whatever. And then he like hit me with a dick pic.
Oh no.
Out of left field, and I was like, oh, like that's such a great strategy though. He opened with the cat. He got me to open it, and then he hit me with the dick pic, and so. He got me good.
Ugh, God. Some people, guys, if you are out there and you ever do that as a person, go check yourself into a psych ward. Just go. We need to get that out of here. Anyways, yeah. I'll go ahead and start wrapping this up. Lime Ricky says thanks for answering her questions.
No problem.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on the show today. If you're watching this on YouTube, please come over to Twitch next time and drop a follow so you can join us live and ask questions in the chat as we're going on. And if you're watching this on Twitch or wherever you're watching this, follow my YouTube as well. Subscribe to that. Go ahead and we'll go on there. You can see all my old interviews too with Chris Moneymaker, Ape Styles, the Veronica Brill one was gone, reduced to atoms. I forgot to hit record, but oh well. So
Oh no.
I know. I feel so bad. It was a fun interview, but it was also terrible because it was like the first one I ever did. But anyways, thank you so much for coming on, Marley. Do you have anything else you want to plug before you head on out?
No, just a Poker After Dark, I guess, every Monday, and keep an eye out for my new YouTube content. It'll be out in the next month or so.
Cool.
So,
all right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. And again, thank you, Marley, so much for coming on. This has been a very fun podcast. It's been great talking to you. And yeah, hopefully, maybe sometime I'll catch you at the World Series or something. Like, just randomly, maybe we'll be sitting at the same table, and I can try to bluff you off a hand.
No doubt. No doubt.
All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to stay on here and take a short break, but I'll be coming back soon. Marley, thank you again for joining me, and I will see you all later.
See ya.
Bye.